don't have the capacity of professionals who can not only bring particular skills that are needed for our cities, but also a kind of imagination.
If we have to really understand how an Indian city works and how do you make it work better, you need a lot more integrated approach.
We've reached a stage in the world now where we understand that if we are to achieve a sustainable future, that we have to integrate different elements of planning. At the moment it's all being done in silos, and that isn't achieving what we want. So I think we now know enough to know this is the right thing to do.
The IIHS is the first university in this country that will be focused on urbanization and human settlements. We hope to reach out in the tens of thousands across the country to try and enable a process of grounded change in our cities and our villages. We will create a profession that is focused on practice because that is precisely what India needs today. The IIHS is designed as an innovative national institution that will scale its operations to meet the country's needs for these well-trained professionals.
I'm full of admiration for the ambition and the scope of the IIHS. I think it's a great idea. I fully agree with the guiding idea that cities of today need new practitioners.
The IIHS has a tremendous potential to set an example of exactly the kind of integrated education and learning that is really needed. And if it works, it will help not only India, but really begin to set a model for other places, not just in South Asia, but North America and Europe.
The Masters of Urban Practice is a professional interdisciplinary program that creates a new way of responding to the complexity of the challenges posed to us by Indian cities and settlements.
The structure of the curriculum is such that it's divided into three parts, three overlapping layers: commons, the concentration, and the core.
The first is the commons, a shared first year taken by all learners in the program that represents the key foundational knowledge stretching across the disciplines that comprise urban practice. The second year allows learners to then take this foundation but specialize and gain depth in a particular field or sector. This specialization is what we term a concentration.
The third component of the curriculum is the core. The very idea of IIHS is rooted in the idea of transformation, both social and urban. And we believe there's an intimate connection between the social transformation and the personal transformation. To get at this personal transformation, it's necessary to go beyond the intellect of the learner. This is what the core is trying to really achieve.
What I really like about it is the core, because there you talk about putting the student who is coming in there in touch with himself, with society and the environment. I think we miss that in our education.
The ways in which they're trying to operationalize the idea of social inclusion is really quite interesting in terms of doing it through language, because language today is one of the most distinct ways in which people get separated.
I think a lot of the discussion that I've heard has been very focused on producing people who not only know some things, but have a way of thinking and a way of asking questions, which is something that, in my experience teaching in the US and in India, is not something that's taught well at an undergraduate level, and is something that is just desperately needs to be taught.
I went to Harvard Kennedy School of Government to study public policy and urban planning about 2 years ago. Had there been a similar interdisciplinary institute such as IIHS at that time, I would have had the opportunity of studying with the same faculty in the context of my own India.
With an interdisciplinary degree from IIHS, I can secure a job in leading private companies working in the sector of real estate, infrastructure, energy and telecom, and maybe work on planning cities, transportation systems or water management in a city.
One of the ways in which I can become most effective change agent in the society is to work with government sector. With a degree from IIHS, I can work with government think tanks that work around public policy. I could also work for a metro project in a city, or I can work for sanitation and drainage system working through municipal corporations.
I've always wanted to work on real-time issues and get a very hands-on experience and be able to involve and impact the community around me. I feel that with a degree from IIHS, I will be able to work with non-government organizations which are involved in microfinance or low-cost housing, and even projects which are working on improving the basic conditions of life in cities.
I'm looking for a career option which will be in demand in the future years. With a degree from IIHS, I'm sure I'll be able to secure my professional future, be it in the public sector or any of the leading private sector companies.
I think the nature of the problems that they have to address is sufficiently interesting and exciting for them to want to deal with them.
There will be a huge demand for the kind of people who we produce and educate at the IIHS, both in the private sector, in firms that will work across the country in multiple sectors, from infrastructure to housing to finance, and also most important in the public sector, in helping manage our municipalities, our cities, our urban governance, and our public utilities more effectively.
They would be playing a huge role in the transformation of India. It will bring them all the material benefits also that everybody wants in the course of a working career.
IIHS has an enormous responsibility, which I would say is almost at a global level, because whatever is decided in India in terms of a path for urbanization will actually affect us all.
I think this is going to be making you capable of doing something which no one has ever done before. It is going to open up an opportunity for you which is going to be so huge that it's really up to you to see the challenge and the future and come in. Well, if you're saying there are going to be 70 plus cities with 1 million population, do we realize and recognize that there is going to be an urban issue? If there is, do you want to be a part of the solution or a part of the problem? Here's an opportunity to be a part of the solution.